What about my love? Seems you have forgotten love. I do believe that something went wrong somewhere. What about my feelings? Do they mean anything at all? You got me so in love, too blind to see. And that you got my love, now you wanna put me down. And that you got my love, got me standing on shaky ground. What about it, baby? What about the days and the nights we spent? What about the love we made so sweet? Are you sure you wanna live? Think it over, baby. Girl, I believe. I think you just might wanna change your mind. Okay, all you of you techies that know anything about cable, I am getting so ticked off every week. I'm having connectivity issues. I'm having excessive downtime. I currently have Xfinity. Yeah, I'm calling them out because this has been like the fourth week in a row, and I'm still having issues and problems. So, I live in the city of Chicago. We don't have a whole lot of options because of everybody, combining companies. I got AT&T and I got Xfinity. Is there any other internet providers? Please let me know. Any other internet providers in the city of Chicago? Just a wee bit frustrated. Hello, beautiful people. You're listening to Intellectual Radio's Voices of Change, and my name is Jenna, and I'll be your host this evening. The song you heard was from Chicago's own Dante Hall. What About My Love? And you probably wonder, that's a strange song to play. Not really. Tonight's show, we have Relationship Sunday, and we have, again, Dr. Khalid Scott. And we're going to talk about how does a parent infidelity affect a child. You never think about that. You're thinking about, well, how does it affect each individual, each spouse or each partner? But you never think about the impact on children. And Khalid is going to discuss that, and he's going to discuss the possibility of issues with trust and honesty and guilt and the parent thinking the child is their buddy and confident and all these other things that, we're not taking into consideration. But everyone knows before I even get into the show, first of all, I'm losing my voice. I was in the great state of Indiana today in Indianapolis visiting family, and I guess I was screaming a little bit too much and losing my voice. So bear with me. Also bear with me with the connectivity issues. I don't know what's going on with Xfinity. It's been too long. But the scripture today is going to be from Hebrews chapter 13, verse 4. And it says, "Let marriage be held in honor among all, and let the marriage bed be undefiled. For God will judge the sexual immorality and adulterer." And we know that's from the Old Testament, but, the word is the word. And we all hope that the bed is undefiled. I don't know if that's even realistic now, but, that's what we're always hoping for. So I'm not going to wait any longer because this man has so many nuggets that he gives us all the time. Every week after week after week, I'm going to bring on my special guest, Khalid Scott, LCSW, LPHA. I'm not going to call you Mr. Alphabet Man, but I'm glad to see you. Hello.
Good evening, family. How's everybody doing?
Everybody's doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. God is good.
What's up with you? You've been screaming too much too?
Yeah, I guess so. Change of weather and yelling at my mentees and my veterans and my married couples and hey, doing the thing. Everything is good. I'm down 29 pounds.
What did you say?
I'm down 29 pounds.
And you're not telling your girl about this?
Oh, I just want people to see it. as it manifests.
Hold it. But you're supposed to tell me, like, on a separate conversation. You know, I'm struggling. How you doing this? What you hit the
Okay.
gym every day?
Well, I go to the gym 4 days a week,
Mm-hmm.
and I my diet, consists of 3 small meals. I take in about 1,000 calories a day, and for us men, we lose weight pretty quickly.
Yeah, I know.
And just been real for no junk food, no dairy, no red meat, just poultry and fish, and it's been working.
How
It's
long you
been
been doing
working.
it? A couple months?
Yeah, a couple of months. A
Wow,
couple
30
of months.
pounds.
So by spring, I'll get my Morris chestnut back.
Oh wait. Oh. Okay, okay. I'll be looking for that. But we're
Absolutely.
gonna have to talk about this just a little wee bit more because you're looking,
Oh
and
yeah.
I saw where you had your Halloween thing, your little vampire. I didn't know you were a vampire man.
Call
I'm
me
always a witch. I'm always a witch.
now.
So I love the vampire. I love the vampire. And Makiba, thank you so much for saying hello. We appreciate it so much, and everybody who is on 1,000 calories a day. What are you saying? 1,000 calories a day will have anyone lose weight. She's a health educator. Okay, so whatever.
Basically.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so today what we're going to talk about. Now I know, and you've heard it too. People say infidelity, infidelity, always infidelity. But what you're going to touch on today is something that I don't think we discuss enough.
Right.
We discuss it indirectly, but we don't discuss it head on enough. So let's talk about the topic that you're going to talk about today. Let's go.
Yes. I am a child, or I was a child born of an affair. So my mom was a 17-year-old, and she had an affair with a 37-year-old married man. And I came about.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was an affair, of course, I did not have a father growing up, right? And of course, that did something to me. How could it not, right?
But did you know when you didn't know when you were a kid? You just
No,
thought this was your dad. Okay. Okay.
no, and again, he wasn't around, and even after that, when I was 2 years old, my mom got into a long-term affair with another married man, and he was around from when I was age 2 all the way up till I was age 18, and they broke up after my 18th birthday. So I think Mr. Lee stayed around not only because he did love my mom, and they had a 16-year affair, but I think he loved me as well because I know I loved him. And then that was an impact for me because this was the only father figure that I knew, right?
Right. Right.
And again, we often talk, like you said in your introduction, we talk about the married couple. We
Mm-hmm.
talk about the mistress or the sad dude, but we forget about the little ones who are born into this or who have to witness this. And I'm not only talking about me, like the son of the mistress. What about the married person who's cheating, how their children are dealing with it? Because to know that your mom or your dad is out there with somebody else, they are not honoring the married institution. So I just really want to do a deep dive into this subject matter to give people another perspective. And even if this makes people say, wait a minute, wow, when you're having an affair, it's very selfish. It's about
Mm-hmm.
you. But I want people to think about the whole entire village that it affects.
True.
Yes.
Which,
Yes.
which is really good. I had to read an article on this because I never really thought about this.
Yeah.
But, you think about why some women and why some men do what they do and act the way they act and feel the way they feel. And when you think about root causes, some of it may be. There was an article and it said the unfaithful spouse is mistaken to believe the pain is afflicted by the affair happens at the moment the child is told. No, the harm done to the child occurs at the moment that the partner elected to go outside the marriage for an emotional or physical relationship. When an affair happens, it cheats the spouse, this is interesting, and the family of the love and commitment of a partner and parent. Telling the child may put an ugly name on why a parent is pulled away from the family, but it is ultimately naming a truth. But I thought it was interesting that not only is the person having an affair pulling away from the partner, but they're pulling away possibly from that. And you don't think about that from the child.
Right, 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 right. I remember, and I've shared this story, when I became an adult and came home from the military. I had to sit down with my mom, and this was one of those moments where I always wanted to bring it to my mom's attention and asked her the why, right?
Dear.
And I remember, my mom saying very vividly, I'm going to let you ask me this question, because she knew where I was going with that. And she said, you can only ask me this question one time. I'm going to answer it for you one time. And don't you ever question me again on why I did what I had to do. So I said, okay, Ma, why did you make yourself second best? Why were you okay being a mistress, Ma? Mama, you're beautiful. You were only 20 years old when you got involved with Mr. Lee, who was 45 years old. Why, Ma? And she said, Ben, that's my nickname. She said, Ben, did you eat every day? Yes. Did you eat well every day? Yes. Did you wear the best clothes in the neighborhood? Yes. Did we drive around in the Cadillac? Yes. Did Lee treat you like you were not his son? No. Treated me very well. Then don't ever question why I had to do what I had to do. And when she said that to me, a new type of respect came over me. And now let me backtrack. I know most people will be like, that wasn't a justification. That wasn't a justification. And my mother took full ownership. She knows that was not an upstanding move she did, but she owned it. And I think what I learned from her and her testimony was, I was a 20-year-old involved with a married man who was 45 years old, but I made him respect our home. Mr. Lee paid rent all 16 years.
Ooh. Every month.
Every month. I wore the best clothing. I didn't go to Zayre's or Goldblatt. I didn't.
I hear you. I hear you.
And Mr. Lee, he owned a couple of lounges around the south side of Chicago. And so what happened was, my mom was his arm candy, his beautiful young ornament. So my mother would wear tailored dresses. My mother had 3-inch nails. She wore a Anita Baker cut, before it was Anita Baker cut, because he wanted that look and he paid for it, and it's funny. A few years ago, I bought me a Cadillac and I just fell in love with it. That was my first luxury car. And it didn't hit me till months later. Mr. Lee planted that seed, because that's all he drove was Cadillacs.
Wow.
He would get a Cadillac every 3 years or so. So, and he taught me how to treat women. Like, for me, I'm very accommodating to women. Like when I was married, I would buy my wife clothes. Why? I saw Mr. Lee buy my mother clothes.
Right.
My Mr. Lee paid for my mom to get her hair done. I paid for my ex-wife to get her hair done. Paid for her nails to be done. So even though I can say I don't have a biological dad who was an influence, I had a father figure, but it was in not the best case scenario. Even Mr. Lee, I remember one year he took me and my mom down to Arkansas to his family reunion. Now, he was married with 3 kids. He took me and my mom to the family reunion. And from my recollection, nobody treated us weird. But
where was his wife? Was this a place his wife and his kids didn't come? They didn't go to it.
What do you mean a place?
Uh, the reunion. Did his wife go to the reunion with
No.
their three? Oh, you went that time, and they treat and they know his wife and his kids. Is his
Yes.
and they okay.
But Mr. Lee had loot. And I think back in the 70s, mistresses and sugar daddies were kind of different, where it was kind of understood,
That's true.
you know? And like from what I found out, his wife knew about my mother. You know, Mr. Lee even sent his grandson to the same schools I went to. So it was like, no, this is not no secret thing.
Right,
It was
right.
all in the open.
You weren't the dirty little secret. So
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then I had to go into the psychological mind of my mother. Why would a 17-year-old have an affair with a 30-something-year-old married man? Well, when I found out more of my family history, again, and I've spoken about this several times, my mom, my aunt, and my two uncles witnessed my grandfather beating my grandmother. And my grandfather had 5 children outside their marriage by my grandmother's friends and babysitter, you know? So here it is. And out of the 5 kids, we know one, my Aunt Shirley. The other 4 children wouldn't have an idea. So I got cousins and aunties and uncles somewhere, don't even know who they are, you know?
yeah.
And so that's the selfish part I'm addressing, right? Jenna, we might be relatives, you know?
That's just it. You don't know.
You don't know. You don't know. And I remember a couple during the pandemic, my daughter coming up to me like, Dad, it's not fair that I don't have a grandfather, because her mom's dad died, you know, when my ex-wife was a young girl. And then of course I didn't have a biological dad. And I remember my daughter on Father's Day like, Dad, let's look up your father. Let's find him. And I said, Anaya, I wouldn't know where to search for him. She was like, well, Daddy, give me his name. And I gave her the name. 20 minutes later, my daughter came downstairs. She was like, Daddy, I got something to tell you. I said, what, Anaya? What's wrong? She was like, Daddy, we can stop looking. She found his obituary. And he died back in 2010, so 10 years earlier, right? And I live in South Holland. My birth father lived in Linwood.
Next door.
Next door.
Oh.
Next door. Next door. So, you know, right under my nose, you know? And then I got siblings. I got a ton of siblings. I don't know them. So see, it's a generation curse.
Yeah.
Now that's just me and my scenario. All of us have this testimony. Either your granddaddy, your dad, your uncles, you know, these second families.
I got a good friend years ago when I was a lot younger, and we were really close, and she said she had a family member funeral and she was so upset she wanted me to go with her. So I said, yeah, you know, I'll go with you. And I went to the funeral, and I remember looking around thinking, okay, number one, why is she walking to the front? And why are all these people, they look like her? You know, you can see similarity in the face, the skin, the hair. She got up there and started falling out over the casket and said, Daddy, 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 why was I your dirty little secret? Her family's in the front 2 rows. They were obviously shocked and didn't know about it. I don't know if the wife did. She ain't say nothing, but I thought the girls was going to jump. I'm like, what the heck? She made this big scene at this funeral. She did not know her siblings. They did not know her. And at this point, everybody in the service knew that she was the out daughter, the dirty little secret. And she said she always felt ashamed because she never felt she was good enough. Not that he didn't support her. He did support her. He gave the mother money for her. Yeah. But he didn't acknowledge her. She didn't know her family. She didn't know that other half. And like you, she said, I could have been dating my brother, my cousin,
Yes. And then Janice, what does this tell children? So let me take myself, for example. I grew up a son of a mistress, right?
Mm-hmm.
My father was a married man, and the man who had the most influence in my life was a married man. So imagine if I would have took the negative route, right? And
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, now I know how to cheat.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I know what happens with a married man and what he does for the mistress. So what happens is when a man is involved and he has a mistress, meaning he has another relationship, this is just
Mm-hmm.
not somebody who is I'm gonna get with and leave, get with and
Right,
leave.
right, hitting quit. Yeah.
My mom was the second wife.
Yeah. How many years did you
Literally,
say? 16?
right. Literally, Mr. Lee had house shoes by the front door. You know what I'm saying? When he came over, my mother cooked the fried chicken, mashed potatoes and gravy, cornbread, sweet potatoes,
Big meal, big
macaroni.
meal, big meal.
Absolutely. Because she understood the assignment. I want that rent paid. I make him feel at home,
At
right?
peace. Mm-hmm.
So me as a child, I'm witnessing this, remember? And I remember I was at the beauty shop with my mother every other Friday when she was getting her hair tightened and getting her nails done. I saw my mom when she would come in with the big box from Evans Furs.
I remember Evans.
Yes, yes, you know, and driving around, I'm in the back seat of that Cadillac. So what I learned was, when you take on this type of affair, you have to pay the cost to be the boss. But also, too, that married man, remember, he's doing that pillow talk. So when the mistress starts saying, why aren't I good enough? Why can't you be with me?
Right.
That married man is like, babe, look, you know the situation. I do love you. I love you. You're the one I want to be with. I got a wife. What about my kids? Should they not have me around?
Mm.
So they play on the guilt, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
Just be
it's coming
patient.
forever. Yeah.
Now, my mom did the reverse, right? So when Mr. Lee a few times was like, hey, Kathy, look, I'm going to leave. I'm a leaver. I want to be with you. My mom was like, no, sir.
You're not gonna put that on me.
Nope. You will not do to me what you're doing to Dorothy.
Wow.
You will not. My mom got pregnant by him. She had miscarriages, you know, and it was like, wow. So what I took from their affair is that Khalid, be faithful. Be
It's
faithful.
interesting that you took that route.
Yes. Because remember, I lost. I didn't have my biological dad. And then when I turned 18, Mr. Lee left. So what the lessons I learned from infidelity is that eventually you lose. You don't win being a mistress. You don't win. It's like a band-aid effect. It's a temporary good feeling, but eventually you pay the ultimate cost. So think about it. My mom, her young female adult life, beautiful woman, she never had a husband. But in her head, I'm okay because I will not marry my father. No man will ever have dominion over my life like my dad had over my mom. So that was my mom's mindset.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So, but it's sad. It's sad. It's so sad.
You know,
Then,
but you're looking at it from a man's perspective. As you were talking about it, I was thinking to myself, what is a young girl? What does she take away from that if she's in a situation where her mom is being taken care of, and she realizes she can do niceties and do nice things and get money and get things? How does that impact her? Some people don't take it the positive way that you did.
right, right. And I feel sorry because I'm good. Again, if you're a young girl, you like, wait a minute. I get to dress well,
That's
be
what.
taken on trips, drove around in a luxury vehicle, not hitting. You know, my child gets taken care of, and he can come and go. I don't
Right.
have to
I
deal
don't
with
have
him.
to deal with him. Right.
Man, that's a win-win. But it's not. But it's not, because then you have to go into the mindset, I'm second place. Valentine's Day gets celebrated the 13th or the 15th. Christmas gets celebrated on the 24th or the 26th.
Them off dates. Yeah.
And now in these days and times, sugar daddies ain't like they were back in the 70s. You know, girl, the Red Lobster, they don't done something for. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. You're right.
Right. You don't have the sugar daddies no more. You know? So, and then back in the day, Mr. Lee, all of his buddies had mistresses. So, and he hung out with other businessmen who owned businesses on the south side and the west side of Chicago. He hung out with the bus guys, the cops. So it was a village of married men who had mistresses.
I think it was almost status. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. But in the end, like I got a couple of buddies, they're children of affairs, right? And we all have the same testimony that we broke the curse and we married and we had our children and we don't cheat. But then, like I told you, on a weekly basis, Jana, my married friends are coming over to my house, sitting on my love seat, like, hey, yo, Khalid, you know, man, been married 22 years and I got me a little, you know, a little friend. And I'm like, why are you doing that, man? I saw it when I was growing up. Man, to be honest, Khalid, my mistress helps me stay married to my wife.
And how is that?
Because I got the nagging wife at home who is driving me bananas, but I get my peace.
Oh, from the mistress.
From the mistress.
So that balances me so I can keep going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now what are we teaching our kids? My young mentees, you know, I'm getting them on the right track, but one of my mentees told me the other day, it's like when he talks to his buddies and they're in their 20s and 30s, they like, we ain't getting married. We'll have a kid together, but what's the point of getting married?
That's how a lot of them feel. They're not getting married.
Then I'm hearing young ladies like, I'm gonna have a side dude. I'm gonna have a side, and they are doing it. So marriage ain't the goal for everybody, you know? True. And if we keep losing out, how are we gonna have a collective community?
How are we going to build that family structure?
Yes.
For the community? Right, right.
Yes. And now I talked about the mistress kids. What about Mr. Lee's 3 kids? Right? Yeah. When I talked to my mom about his kids, man, his daughter was promiscuous. And then
his kids knew. Oh, yeah, the kids do after a time.
Yeah, they knew about my mother. When he died, they invited my mother to the funeral. Yeah, because my mother helped take care of him his last year of his life. His wife had died several years earlier.
Oh, okay.
And so my mom, because Mr. Lee treated us so good, my mom took care of him because he died of cancer. So she took care of him the last year of his life. You know, and my mother, she went to the funeral. But now when the will was read, my mother wasn't on the will.
Of course not, yeah.
But 16 years, she was his second wife. So tell me how you win.
So how did Mr. Lee's children feel knowing this?
My mom got along with him. At least they was polite to my mother.
Okay.
Like his son would hang out with my mom because his son was around my mom's age.
Oh gosh. Okay.
You know, Black people, we make dysfunction feel real normal. You know what I'm saying? We make dysfunction feel real normal, right? Yeah. And I told you, like, his grandson went to school with me, and we're friends. You know, so it was understood. But his kids, the daughter was promiscuous. The son, who my mom was around, he did drugs, and then the other son had special needs. So here it is, Mr. Lee being a dad to me, while his kids had challenges in their lives.
Because just like the article said, which I was really surprised at, when he messes around, he shortchanges his kids.
Yes.
I mean, there's only 24 hours in a day, and understanding why the young lady, the young Miss Lee, your father is the one who you respect and look up to.
Yes.
And if he's a garden tool, you're gonna feel like all men gonna be a garden tool, so I might as well get mine before they get theirs. You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
she was out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the thing is, then what do we do with this?
I don't know.
How do we do better? It's an individual choice, Jana, and that's what it boils down to. Again, I could have been a player, and I would have been next level player. Because see, what happens is I would have romanced you. You would have been in a relationship with me, and you would have understood your position, and you keep your mouth shut. Mm-hmm. Think about it. And I knew if I did ever have an affair, I would just have a second wife, because what was I taught? Right?
Yeah.
I wasn't taught like the other guys, get with it, hit it, and quit it.
Right.
Oh, you have a relationship with this person.
And their families. They have kids.
Yes. 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 And so we're left to pull up the pieces. So again, I have about 6 siblings in the world who I don't even know. So
can't you look them up? Can't you look them up though? Just like Anaya father, can't you look them up?
I guess I can, and maybe I will one day. Maybe I will, but I'm so used to not having them that it's like not even like, So maybe I'll wake up one day with the epiphany to do the search, But then look what it does. So that means my daughter has 6 aunties and uncles.
Oh my God, I didn't think about that. Yes. Other than the 1,000 that she already has. No.
Right. But this is blood related.
Right.
And then what if each one of them had 2 or 3 kids apiece?
And that's about average.
So that's 18 plus cousins she may have that we don't even know. And remember, my birth father was in Linwood. So I could be passing up my brother right now at the gym up the street and don't know. So this is why we got to do better. I know we want the satisfaction of the affair, not only the physical satisfaction, but the mental that it brings to you. But there's a cost. There's always a cost when you're doing wrong. It's always a cost when you're doing dirty. And you may not pay the price, but the people in your village pay a price.
Wow.
If you think about it, bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we do?
What do we do?
What do we do? So for me, I hold my friends accountable. Like, bruh, I hope you're not over here bragging that you got a mistress, because if you are, I would please beg you to go to counseling, go and talk to your higher being, and let that other person go. Or for me and you can't be buddies. Because if you cheat on your wife, you would cheat on me, your buddy. But how many people are going to have that conversation?
But wait now. Let's rethink this. Isn't it true that most men have affairs at one point or another?
Yes.
So is it so unusual that these friends of yours that have wives at home are having affairs?
No, it's not.
But
they're telling me they're doing it.
But
what I'm telling them is,
okay,
I won't be one of those people like, yeah, dude, yeah, get it.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So they might be like, well, forget you, Khalid. But see, one of the things I know is my magic powers is something about being friends with me, that I'm contagious. but I'm addictive.
You're
You
so
want
modest. You are
friend.
so darn modest. Oh my God.
So, man, here it is. You got a buddy. You can be transparent with your buddy. He's inviting. You know, if Khalid is your friend, your back is covered.
Right.
And the only thing I'm telling them is, man, I was at your wedding 25 years ago. I was one of the groomsmen. Why are you cheating on my sister?
And you are right, because now I'm seeing an uptick in women having affairs. Well, women telling me that they're doing things, and I would, and I'm not a counselor of no means, but I would certainly tell them, where is this going to go?
Yeah.
Who does this impact?
Yes.
Are you just not going out to a bar, and I'm talking relationships, okay?
Right.
You are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing is, and so now, which I've talked about before, I'm in private practice and business is booming. So the majority of my clients on my list are married couples, right? A lot of them are in counseling because of infidelity.
Are most of them like in their 30s and 40s?
No, most of them are 40s, 50s.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Yes. And so the wives are like, found out that he was cheating on her. So they was like, last ditch effort. Let's go to counseling, or I'm gonna divorce you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the first couple I ever had in my private practice, I've spoken to them before. Married couple, been married 20 years.
Oh.
And he found out that he had a baby on the way from an college classmate. And the wife was open to stay with him. But then she found out he had other affairs. And then once it came back, when the DNA test came back that it was his, she decided to divorce him. And they're legally divorced now. That was the first couple I counseled. And that stuck with me because I couldn't save them. I couldn't save them.
Well, that's because she found out the other things. You know what I mean? It just complicated it.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So, and think about it. That was a 20-year marriage.
That's a lot of time invested.
That was two families for 20 years with one family. Now that's broken. And then what about that baby? You know what I'm saying? That baby has got to walk around with a scarlet letter on her head. You know? So
how is that going to impact her? How is her psyche going to be? How is she going to react?
Yes.
It's going to have an impact on her.
Yes. My auntie, the one I told you was outside my grandparents' marriage, I could tell she's always felt like the outsider. Mm-hmm. She's always felt like the outsiders, the outsider. And, and at times, because my mom and my auntie, they would, when they fought with her, that was one of the things they threw in her face.
Of course.
And even though we love you, don't ever forget you the outsider. Your mama was my mama's best friend.
Oh, gee, now that's hurtful. That's beyond hurtful.
Right. But that means they all were in pain because my aunt is a reminder of my grandfather sleeping with my granny's best friend. So it impacts all of us.
It impacts the kids of the mistress or whoever's, and it impacts the other kids. Yes. It impacts all of them. And then it impacts their lives and future relationships.
Yes.
Am I going to ever trust this man if I knew, you know what I mean? Or this woman?
Yes. 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 So that's why when your listeners or anybody else say, well, why do we always got to talk about infidelity? The day I stop is the day when I see it is not happening no more.
When your practice dries up and you don't have a backlog up through next year, then we can start talking about something.
Absolutely. But I want to address these issues that maybe one guy who's on his way next weekend to cheat on his wife, maybe he'll listen to this show and be like, wow, I never thought about it like that.
Because it's affecting his kids.
Yes.
He don't have, he's He's cheating them of time because he's out there being selfish, doing what he wants to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And think about what it costs our community. And I mean, I've heard all kind of stories. Like people, I've heard celebrities say, my daddy cheated and my sibling grew up right across the street from me.
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah.
I remember hearing the story where this man slept with two sisters and had kids by both sisters. And
Oh,
that happened with the Jacksons.
the Jacksons who? Oh, it sure did.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes. Randy and Tito
Had the same
children
woman.
are
Yeah.
siblings and cousins.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Right. So I'm telling you, Black folks know how to take dysfunction and make it feel normal. And of course, that's me addressing our issues. This is worldwide. This is worldwide. Infidelity is probably the oldest sin.
Yeah.
What do we do, Janice? You're in the church. Give me that part.
I mean, scripture, the church we're always advocates of families staying together. We're always advocates of morals, but that doesn't mean individuals act that way. Just because we're advocates of it. I mean, like me being in the church, and you see all kind of things in the church. Don't think it don't happen. It happens as much in the church as it does in a bar, I guess, where people are hooking up and doing things. And me now, as a mature church member, it's my responsibility to talk to them. And I'm not just talking about young people, because normally when they're young and they're married, they're still in the honeymoon phase. I'm talking about middle-aged and older people. that are out there doing because we're constantly fed about doing the right thing. But think about it, church is for the sick, church is for people that are broken. Yes. Church is for people to get healed. So you got mail. So that's what that's what we do in the church house.
Right. And if that's supposed to be our safe zone, and it's going on in the church.
Yeah, but again, church is for the broken. If I was doing, you know what I mean? So church is for healing. So those people that are broken, that are doing that, hopefully they'll come there and get something and be fed and want to turn their life around. It's for the broken. So I expect to see everything in the church, and I do.
And of course that makes sense. But then when do we do better?
I don't know.
When do we do better? When do we do better? I have to prep my daughter. That daughter, your husband will more than likely cheat on you.
Oh, and how did she react to that?
I've been telling Anaya that since she was 10 years old, since I got divorced, because I want my daughter to have a working knowledge about, don't think because you got tan brown skin and your hair is down the middle of your back, that will keep him at home.
What
it won't. It won't.
How do you tell her to handle it?
A man can walk past a tree, and if it's got a hole in it with some sap in it, he don't do it.
I mean, that's a truism.
Absolutely.
I just don't know how a young woman hearing that would want to respond to. I mean, would react to it.
Well,
it's a dose of reality for sure.
Right. My daughter's feedback is, well, Daddy, I didn't grow up seeing it.
Who said, oh, that's what Naya says?
Yes.
Yeah, but that don't mean nothing. Just because you don't grow up seeing it don't mean you. I mean, I'm just saying.
Right. But what a mature response that was. She was saying, Daddy, thank God I didn't see you do it to my mommy.
Yeah, that.
Well, maybe that's a ray of hope. Maybe I'll pick a guy like you who won't.
And that's a positive way to think about it.
Yes. Because I remember one of my mentees was over my house, and he's an ex-football player, and Anaya had just got her graduation pictures back, and my mentee was sitting on the couch, and he was looking at her pictures like, Coach Anaya looks like she would be a athlete's wife.
She does. I'm just saying.
Right.
I'm just
That look, right?
yeah.
And so Anaya came down in the kitchen. I said, Anaya, come here for a minute. Marcus, repeat what you just said. So when he said that to her, Anaya was like, no. And I said, well, why not, Anaya? She said, well, Daddy, I wouldn't dare marry a man who's predisposed to cheat on me.
Because they're garden tool. Not all of them. I'm not generalizing, but I'm just saying they're predisposed to do right. Now, that is a group who pats each other on the back. Yeah, man, you better get one there, you get one here. Yeah. So
Yes. And I thought that was so
that was
powerful
very
for my
mature
daughter to
because
say that.
she got discernment already. I mean, think about it. Most women, young
Yeah.
like her and beautiful, think, well, maybe I can snatch one. That'll have me a beautiful lifestyle. You know what I mean? They're not thinking about the downside where she is.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so that led me when in that moment, Janice, I did this.
Yep. All that teaching that you've been, sooner or later it's gonna. But she does. She's a
Absolutely.
bright girl anyway, and
Absolutely.
she's now focused on being a neurosurgeon. I just can't wait till all this happen in the next couple of years.
Absolutely. But then also that we had that part too. Anaya, you're gonna be a boss chick. You know, you're a
Yeah.
Leo. You're gonna be making good money.
Yes, Leo, yes.
But Anaya, you got to be mindful of the guy who you get with because is he going to be like, man, she emasculating me. She make more than me. Man, she at work right now. And then Tamika down the street, you want some chicken, macaroni and cheese, cornbread, greens, sweet potatoes, and a caramel cake? It made Mr. Lee come to my house for 16 years, Jana. Right?
Yeah.
So you can only ask for the best.
And she, you know what? And it's good that you're telling her that.
Yes.
She has to be aware of that to be balanced.
Yes.
And it's going to be hard to be balanced early in her career. But
absolutely,
it's good that you're telling her that.
Absolutely. But the wonderful thing is, like, my daughter has a female Black doctor who is married with 2 kids. And so she has a relationship with her who could say, wait a minute. Wow, a woman can have it all. A booming medical career and a whole entire family.
Now that's beautiful that she sees that as a role model.
Absolutely.
And she can even talk to her and feed off her. That's
absolutely. So see, as we make better villages and have positive images, that's how we get rid of these curses that we've been dealing with. That's how we stop normalizing dysfunctional behavior.
So how we can attack it on an individual basis is if we see something, say something.
Well,
I mean,
right. That's why I said we hold our friends and family accountable. You know?
And that's a big village right there. When you talk about friends and family, that's a lot of people.
Yeah. We tell our young people, don't make the mistakes of auntie and uncle and mom and dad and grandparents. You do better. You fall in love, treat that person like you want them to treat you. Honor your relationship. You know? Because, I mean, even Janice, think about this. How many Black family, positive Black family images do we have on TV? You know, back when we were growing up, we had multiple. I was
going to say the Cosby, but how long has that been on?
Yeah. We had those positive images.
Wait, but who do we have now? No, seriously, I'm trying to think of.
Name a TV show where there's a Black couple with Black kids, positive.
That went off too. Oh my gosh.
See what I'm saying? You got to think about it. I can't. It's a little corny show that comes on Netflix called The Family Reunion. That comes on.
Yeah, that comes on.
You know,
but
right. That's it. Nothing on regular television.
But I mean, you know, okay, now we're going to shift. Don't you kind of think that that's by design?
Oh, of course it is.
I mean, even with the music, I was up late one night, and it upset me so much because everybody know I love music. I saw Megan Thee Stallion on one of the night shows, And the first song that she did was okay, a little, but okay. The second dang song she did was so damn raunchy, and I'm thinking, what white girl do they put up there and pay millions of dollars to do that? Is that what Taylor Swift is doing? I mean, think about it.
Got you.
The media is this, all of this is by design. All those messages that we're getting, all, think about some of the shows, some of the movies, some of the music, the lyrics. And I'm not jumping on any one genre. I'm just saying, if the lyrics are offensive, if the lyrics are foul, if the lyrics are talking about B's and W's and all that.
Right. And I mean, even think of the married couple. So who do young people look up to? So Rihanna is with a guy, they're not married, but they have a baby, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Then you got what Beyonce
Beyonce is a family.
and Jay-Z cheated on her. They took it and made millions off of a concert talking about it. You know what I'm saying? And for me, if I'm Jay-Z, my wife is not going to ever get on the stage with showing her butt cheeks. She don't have to no more. She's an icon.
And how long is she gonna do that? Right. I mean, think about it, literally. I mean, I know she's a beautiful woman. She'll be beautiful a long time. But how long is she gonna be up there being a booty shaker?
I got you.
And she don't have to.
And she doesn't have. And then she has 2 daughters.
Yes.
Why would you show your daughter this? Then you have Cardi B, who husband cheats on her every year. So look at our images. Look at our images. You know? So that's what I'm saying. It's by design. Slavery broke us up. Slavery broke us up. And we keep continuing the dysfunction.
Well, yeah, but it keeps perpetuating slavery, crack, the manufacturing industry going away. I mean, I drove through Gary today, and I don't know if you've ever been to Gary, Indiana.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Oh, I was almost. It was the most depressing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yes, yes.
To me, it's worse.
Right.
That at one time was a thriving community.
Absolutely. But they took those steel mills out, and it was down from there. You know, so that's what I'm saying. We have so many curses to overcome.
Yeah.
Even when we do make it. So look at this Kanye West.
Oh, I know. I haven't even been. You're gonna have to enlighten me on that, because I don't know a whole lot about it. I kind of fell out with Kanye when he was talking about how blacks kind of wanted to stay in slavery because there's a couple things that he said about us, about our race, that was so offensive. He was a total turnoff. So now when he's flipping the script and talking about a group of people that whatever, now you're seeing his demise right in front of us.
Right. So what does that tell young boys? So here it is, the richest black man in America 2 weeks ago was Kanye West. He made a statement about Jewish people.
2 weeks.
And in one day, he went from billion status to regular millionaire status.
And that's, well, I mean, and it almost makes you think, because I don't know if you remember, Arsenio Hall had a show, and it was fabulous. I mean, it was on late night again. It was fabulous. He wanted to have Farrakhan on the show. Farrakhan was a friend.
Absolutely.
He had Farrakhan on the show. They advised him not to.
Absolutely.
What happened to him?
Absolutely. So they reinforced that we're unified. Your race isn't unified. Our race is. Mess with us, and we will come after you with guns blazing.
That's right. Doesn't matter how much money we're losing.
Now, a few weeks ago, he had the White Lives Matter.
Oh,
he got the pictures. He got the pictures with Donald Trump. It didn't matter.
He's a pawn. Yeah. Yep.
It didn't matter.
Yep.
It didn't matter. So that's the thing. Again, we have to take our work and knowledge, and we got to do something with it. My mentee took me to the King Tut exhibit Friday night.
Ah, okay.
And as we were sitting there looking at it, right, because it's all projection on the wall, right? And my mentee, and he's 35, he was like, man, coach, you gonna told me how magnificent our race is. But seeing this, oh my God,
right.
How come I didn't know that Egypt was inside of Africa? until I was 23 years old.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't. That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Again, it's by design.
Of course. But that's why we got to take the reign and run with it.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
why we got to be responsible.
Individually and collectively, we have to do it.
People, when I do Zooms, I always do this. Look at that back wall. That's on purpose that I got my camera set up like this.
And you do about 20 Zooms a week. I'm surprised you don't have your own show. No, seriously. I'm really shocked that you don't have your own podcast and start monetizing it, because I'm seeing you on every night when I get off work and I turn on. I'm like, Khalid's on this. Khalid's on this.
Absolutely. But think about the message I'm sending. I'm a black man with all this paper on the wall.
Is that your brag wall again?
Absolutely it is. Not only me, my daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm letting folks know, don't you dare stereotype. Don't you dare think we're not significant. This is what we got to start doing. We got to plant better seeds.
Right.
Instead of the negative.
That's true.
And the more we do that, the better our outcomes will be. How could it not? We're a wonderful, strong, surviving race. We just got to understand our significance. So, ladies, if you were planning to go out with that married man next week, cut it. Cut it. Say no. No. I'm only going to be with a man who is single like me.
Yeah.
And married men or married women, before you go to that hotel or that apartment or to that restaurant, think about what you're doing to your family and turn the car around. And turn the car around. Let's make better choices. Yep. Because we can't afford it. We can't afford it.
What a good way to end the show. You always give so many nuggets. And you said that, but someone probably is thinking about getting ready to go be with somebody or to go do something. And you bringing out those scissors just amplified it. Cut it. It isn't. Look who you're impacting, and it is a very selfish act.
Yes.
A momentarily selfish act.
Yes.
So, geez.
Yes. And I'm a living witness about it because I lived it. You know, I lived it. So,
well, Khalid, again, we're at our end, and I want to, as always on Relationship Sunday, I want to thank you so much for coming on and giving us these negative, because I never really thought about the impact on the child. Yes. I remember that funeral that I went to, and that still,
yes,
that was like overwhelming. But you never think about this is impacting the child, but it is.
Yes.
People at school may be whispering about your mama, your daddy. I mean, who knows? Yes. You don't know how far it goes.
Yes.
And the kids may feel guilty about, maybe if I wasn't here, maybe they would be. I mean, there's just so many different emotions.
Absolutely. One day, if she hasn't, Blue Ivy is going to turn on the internet and see that time when her auntie was trying to beat up her daddy in the elevator. And be like, Daddy, why did auntie hit you like that?
Right.
Come on.
Well, again, Khalid, thank you. As a people, individually and collective, we, like he said, we have to do better. Yes. If we see it, we got to call it.
Yes.
So sound like Khalid's becoming a church boy. Hallelujah. Anyway,
he's always there.
There you go. Khalid, I am so happy again to have you on, and I'm gonna have to contact you separately. You know about the 2-9. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so absolutely.
Until next month, we can start thinking about what we want to talk about next month. The news really helps us do that, because there's always something crazy going on in the news.
Well, I think I'll talk about relationships in the holidays. Yeah. Yeah, relationships in the holidays.
And that's a whole conversation from different aspects of it.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it. See you next month. Have a great Halloween if you celebrate that garbage. I hate Halloween. But anyway, everyone be blessed, and I'll see you next week again at 6 p.m. I have another guest next week, so you guys have a blessed week. Khalid, talk to you soon.
Take care, guys.